Hello and welcome. So today I have for you a total of 9 fragrances, but these are really special because on the regular, I have a group of fragrances that I pull and that I keep on a rotation. But for some reason, these fragrances, these 9 fragrances, have been in my rotation for over a month, which is not very normal of me because I typically keep them like for 3 weeks and no more than that. But these 9 fragrances, I am like obsessed. Some of them are brand new 2025 releases that as soon as I sniff them, they were a deep love, so they will not come as a surprise for you. But others have been around for a while, and I pulled them because I knew that we were approaching, cooler weather. So I wanted to have them, within arm's reach so that I would use them and not forget that I wanted to pull them. But I have to tell you, these are like 9 perfumes that I just cannot stop wearing. And I'll talk to you a little bit about them and what is it about them that makes them so special for me and that makes me keep them in a constant rotation. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Before we do so, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go. All right, so the first fragrance that I want to share with you today is from Argos, and this one is Birth of Venus. And here is the beautiful bottle. I just love the aesthetics of the Argos fragrance house, but not just that, the juice is just absolutely amazing. So this is a fragrance that does immediately in the opening, it tells you that the fragrance is going to be all about the note of orange blossom because it truly, truly is. The orange blossom is dominant from first sniff all throughout the olfactory journey, at the dry down, and throughout the wear of the fragrance. But at that, the fragrance does open with some citrusy notes. If I recall correctly, it's like bergamot and lemon or something like that. But the other thing that you're going to pick up on immediately is also a note of lavender. So the orange blossom is definitely in the lead of the florals and is very dominant, as I said before, but the lavender gives the fragrance an opening that is a little bit fresh. This is not a freshie whatsoever, but the lavender does something along with those citrusy notes that make it really like an airy, not fresh, okay, airy kind of opening. But still, you're going to get that very strong orange blossom presence. So if you're not into orange blossom, this is a fragrance that is not for you whatsoever. Now, this is a fragrance that whenever I use it, I just feel so feminine. To me, this is a feminine fragrance all the way. I've already done a review of this fragrance, by the way, and all of the fragrances that I'm discussing with you today, some of them have dedicated reviews, so I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. I just want to share with you today what are the fragrances that I am wearing nonstop behind the scenes. Whenever I have a chance, if I have a break of like a couple of hours, I will go to that tray and I will pull one of these fragrances because I am completely, truly obsessed with them. So Birth of Venus, for me, whenever I wear it, it's because I'm looking for that very feminine feel. In addition to that, what I also love about this fragrance is that, well, it's not an easy pull fragrance because it has quite a bit of oomph and character, and you need to be very careful how much you spray it because I don't know if you have experience with the Argos fragrances, but these fragrances tend to be no joke. I own about 6 or 7 of their bottles, and I can tell you they are all beast mode, and Birth of Venus is not the exception. This is a fragrance that I think that you can wear for any occasion, day or night, but not when you know that you're going to perspire or if you're going to be at an outdoor event on a very warm day. This is not the fragrance for that. That is why I think it is perfection for like fall and winter. So if you want to get an idea of this scent profile, think like a Love Don't Be Shy. They're not the same fragrance, but because you have that very present orange blossom, which is very, very dominant, you're going to get a bit of like the same effect. But all in all, if you have not tried Birth of Venus, This is one that you really need to make an effort and get your nose on as soon as possible. All right, so the next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Spirit of Kings, and this one is Allegiance. And you may recall that I just reviewed this fragrance for you here on the channel not too long ago. And I had to bring it up because this is a fragrance that I did fall in love with it immediately. But I also have to say that I just can't stop wearing it. This is a fragrance that to me really speaks to that feel of like sensuality, not necessarily that you're trying to have like a sexy moment, but it's just very alluring, very smooth, very sensual in its ways. But you know, I find that to be the case with many of Christian Provenzano fragrances, and this one is no exception. This fragrance is sweet, but not very sweet. Oh, I just love this scent. It is quite woody and it has a very strong aromatic presence, which is what I would say is like the signature scent here. You know, like that accord is quite dominant. The fragrance is aromatic from the opening all throughout the olfactory journey and throughout the wear of the fragrance. So you do have to enjoy that. It's not going, it's not going to make you smell like if you're in the kitchen or if you're working with spices or with herbs or anything like that, but it is quite aromatic. This is definitely a musk-based fragrance, and it does have quite the floral presence to it. And for me, the one that sticks out the most is the rose. For me, the rose is definitely the lead of the florals of this fragrance. But all in all, this for me is just perfection. And it does border on being a little bit of one of those fragrances that I can pull without having to think much about it. I think that this is one that you will not get complicated at all because it is such a beautiful and pleasant scent. I tell you, this is one that I have not been able to stop using ever since I reviewed it for you. At least every other day, I have to spray it. Let's say that I'm not like wearing it for the entire day, at least I have to spray my hand and sniff it because it is truly that beautiful. The next fragrance that I have for you is one that I hauled here on the channel not too long ago. I actually think that I brought it to a Saturday morning chatty scent corner and I shared with you my first impression, but this is one that I had a sample of and I fell in love with it immediately and I knew that I wanted a full bottle, but it was sold out. Now it's back. So this is from Testament London and this is Tea on a Cruise. And here is the beautiful bottle, very sleek, very modern. So this is a fragrance that I have to tell you, as the name says it, you are to expect that you're going to have a very present tea note. And you do. The fragrance opens very airy, very, very airy because not only is it going to open with that tea note, but there's also like a marine quality to the fragrance. But here's the thing before you even think about this. Even though it does have that marine quality and it opens with that airiness, and there are some citrusy notes, if I recall correctly, there's some orange and bergamot here. This, to me, is not a fragrance that you have to limit to the spring and summer seasons only because, to me, this is an all-year-round kind of fragrance. My only reservation would be like on a very, very cold day during the winter, I wouldn't pull this fragrance. But other than that, to me, this is an all-year-round fragrance. And at that, the scent is just absolutely beautiful. The fragrance also has a very present floral presence where I pick up clearly on white florals and I get jasmine and tuberose primarily. You're also going to get some spicy notes. Primarily, I pick up on the ginger and I pick up on a tad of like pink pepper, but I don't think it has been disclosed in the notes, but I do pick that up, a tad there, but it's definitely clear to me that that is pink pepper. But the one spice that I pick up for sure all throughout the olfactory journey and throughout the wear is the note of ginger. The dry down brings quite a bit of vanilla with it, not a ton of vanilla. The vanilla is not dominant, but the dry down is very ambery and it does bring a very, very beautiful vanilla that combined with that tea note and with those spicy notes makes for just an exquisitely beautiful fragrance. I tell you, if there was one fragrance that I really recommend that you at least try, it is definitely this one, but I'll be saying that about all 9 of these fragrances, but this is an absolutely incredible fragrance. And look, I already have a little bit of a dent, and I just received this fragrance not too long ago, but I'm telling you, it is nonstop. I just cannot stop spraying it. And the other thing about this one is that it allows me to layer with others in my collection, which I found that rather peculiar, because based on the notes, I didn't think that this one would layer with too many other scent profiles, but it does. So this next one is one that has been on my rotation for months. When I tell you months, because I picked it up like at the beginning of the spring, if I recall correctly, and it's just been sitting there. And every time I try to like put it back to allow another fragrance to come into the rotation, I just can't, because I am absolutely obsessed with this fragrance. And this is one of the latest launches from Sospiro for 2025, I'm pretty sure. And this one is Cavatina. And look at this beautiful, beautiful bottle. But to be expected, because Sospiro has such incredible bottles, but the juice. Oh, let's talk about the juice. So this is a fragrance that opens up quite fruity. It has a very present note of pomegranate that opens the fragrance for you. And it also has some blackcurrant, but it also has a bit of a spiciness to it. And if I recall correctly, it's courtesy of the note of pink pepper. Now, I have to tell you, there's quite a bit of florals here, but to me, they all come across as white florals. I pick up on freesia, I pick up on rose, and if I recall correctly, I get magnolia, which I am loving. It smells absolutely beautiful. That is what you're going to get, like midway in the olfactory journey. Those florals will come, and you will know that they are white florals because you can't miss it. It's like a whole bouquet that still allows you to identify here and there one over the other. The fruitiness will continue to be present because that fruitiness and those florals are the stars of the fragrance. But at the dry down, you are going to get a musk-based, beautiful, beautiful floral fruity scent that, while being floral fruity, is going to get you through all seasons of the year, except for, I would say, winter. Like on a very, very cold winter day, this is not a fragrance that I would pull whatsoever. The other thing that I did want to let you know about this one is that it does have ambroxan. So for those fam members that are sensitive to ambroxan, this one is not for you for sure. But other than that, give this one a try, because I'm telling you, you're going to be absolutely obsessed with it. By the way, I think that I have a discount code that I left for you in the description box of this video for most of the fragrances that I'm discussing with you today. With very few exceptions. And I'm sure that this is the one that I have a discount code for. And when I tell you, the pricing is great because it's already discounted, which I don't know why, but hey, good for you. But anyway, just give it a try. You can thank me later. So this next fragrance is a fragrance from that new Christian Louboutin collection. And everybody talks about Fetiche La Rose, but there's other fragrances that have come out as a part of that collection that I find to be beautiful. But this next one, to be honest with you, has me more obsessed than Fetiche La Rose. And Fetiche La Rose is an incredibly beautiful scent. I absolutely love it. But there is just something about Fetiche La Cuir that I just cannot stop wearing this fragrance. And I love to also layer with it. So here is the beautiful bottle that we've all come to admire. This is like a weapon, but I do love it. I think it's a beautiful, different, and creative kind of bottle, so I'm not hating it. But the thing about this fragrance is that, you know, they've only disclosed, if I recall correctly, 3 notes, and those are suede, osmanthus, and leather. I know for sure there's suede and leather here, and there's osmanthus, but there's other notes here because I do pick up on other notes, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But what I do want you to know is that this is truly a leather suede-ish kind of scent. Those are the real dominant notes of this fragrance. This one is not about florals or the spicy notes, even though I do pick up on some spicy notes. I'm pretty sure that there's black pepper here, but that leather note, the thing is that it's been done so exquisitely beautiful. There is something so sexy about this fragrance that I can't even explain. So if you may recall, this is one of the fragrances that was initially launched. I think maybe 4 or 5 were first launched as part of the Le Fetiche collection. And after that is when we started to see others such as La Rose, right? But this one was part of that first initial group. And I'm pretty sure that during a Chatty Scent Corner, I did do a first impression for you because I had a sample of all of the ones that came out in that first batch. And I told you that I was kind of underwhelmed. But this one, when I tried it on skin, which is what I wanted to tell you, this is one that you have to try on skin because that is where the magic happens for whatever reason. I get totally different vibes and totally different performance, totally different everything when I test it on skin versus paper. But all in all, this is a very smooth fragrance that is very, very elegant and sophisticated. This is not the type of fragrance that you want to wear to the gym. You're going to feel and you're going to smell like out of place because this is all about those moments where you want to be very elegant and sophisticated in your ways. That is the vibe that you're going to get from this. If you have an office meeting, if you have a special event to attend, perfection. This is also a fragrance that I do consider to be quite unisex. I don't think that this leans to the feminine or to the masculine side whatsoever, because if I were to be pressured to pick a lean, I would say to the feminine side. Anyway, but this one for me, this is an obsession. I'm telling you, it has been in my rotation for quite a while because I've had it for quite a while and I just keep pulling it. All right, so this next fragrance, when I tell you obsession, I am absolutely obsessed with this fragrance, and it has been the case from like the get-go. And this is the latest from Dolce & Gabbana, and this is My Devotion. And look at this beautiful, beautiful bottle. So My Devotion is a flanker to, of course, the entire Devotion line, right? A flanker of the original. But I've already reviewed this here on the channel. And the first thing that I told you is that if you are expecting that this is really going to have that original Devotion DNA and that this is really like a flanker of it, no. To me, this is a completely different fragrance and nothing has changed. Now, when I tell you that this is addictive, this is such an incredibly beautiful scent, but at that, there is something yummy. This is not really a gourmand whatsoever, in my opinion. This is really more about the florals, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But there is just something yummy about this scent that I can't even explain. But the thing about this one, it is that it is so addictive. You are not going to be able to stop using it. I use this one like for 2 or 3 days in a row. Do you know what that means? With everything that I do and all the fragrances that I have coming in and going, for me to wear a fragrance 3 days in a row, I just could not stop wearing it. That is so incredibly addictive for me. Unbelievable. This one's going to be in my tray probably all throughout the fall and throughout the winter because I just really can't stop wearing it. Now, the thing about this fragrance that you do need to know, if you are one of those fam members that is sensitive to ambroxan, then this one is definitely not for you. This fragrance has a ton of vanilla and it has a very present note of orange blossom. But in addition to that, they've added also the note of peony, which gives this such a beautiful floral twist. Now, if you're expecting it to have any of the DNA of the original, like being, really kind of gourmandish in a heavy way, or having that tartness of lemon and those citrusy notes, nope, you're not going to find any of that in this fragrance. I'm telling you, this is a completely different fragrance. I almost wonder, could this have been the one that they really were going to launch as the OG, as the first Devotion, and then they decided to go another route, and then now they decided to just put it out there? Because this to me is incredible, but it is a completely different fragrance than the OG. I absolutely love it. I can wear this for any occasion, day or night. It performs beautifully. It will get you compliments. It is just a delight. If you have not tried this fragrance, well, this is your golden opportunity to pick it up or get yourself a decant or a sample or whatever you need to do. But I am telling you, this is one you do not want to miss out on. All right, so I'm just going to give you a warning that the last 3 fragrances that I'm sharing with you, these are, when I tell you, I am completely obsessed. I cannot get these fragrances off of my tray. And I am very sure that all 3 of them are going to be in my rotation during the fall, the winter, and some of them may carry me all throughout the year because I just don't think I'm going to be able to stop using them. And let's go ahead and start with the latest from Initio. The name says it all. Can't get enough. And here is the beautiful, beautiful bottle. So I have a couple of shorts and I have a dedicated review of this fragrance. In case you missed it, you may want to go check it out because this has got to be one of the best Initio releases of, I don't know, I would say the past couple of years. And I love all of their fragrances. But when it comes to this one, this is just absolutely incredible. This is a fragrance that is sweet. It is a bit boozy. It opens up with quite a bit of citrusy notes. There's a clear note of lemon and bergamot that I pick up on immediately. There's also, if I recall correctly, some bitter orange here. And as the journey continues, that's when the fragrance starts to become a bit boozy. And if I recall correctly, it's coming from like the note of cognac, but the booziness is so smooth that it's almost like it entrances you into falling in love with this fragrance immediately. This is also very much a mood altering fragrance for me. This will make you feel immediately like sexy and alluring and ready to take on the world. I can't even explain it in any other way. Then as you approach the dry down, you're going to start to pick up on the like vanilla caramelly quality of the fragrance. They have not disclosed vanilla here, but I am telling you, there's either vanilla here or we can make the tonka, because there is tonka bean here, responsible for that vanilla kind of caramelly effect that I get as you approach the dry down. And then at the dry down, you are going to get a incredibly addictive scent that is perfection for like the fall, winter, and opening of the spring seasons that you can wear for just about anything, day and night, that is going to get you a ton of compliments, that is going to perform exquisitely. Not beast mode, but borders on beast mode, at least on my skin. But you're going to get a scent that is sweet, that is a tad boozy. It's not very boozy, just a tad boozy, that is warm, spicy, very, very ambery. And it has, again, that vanilla caramelly effect to it. This is not a yummy fragrance whatsoever. This is not a gourmand, but it is a scent that when I tell you will get you noticed and you will be sniffing yourself all day long. I am completely obsessed with this fragrance. I don't know when it's going to come off my tray because there's so many new fragrances coming out and that I'm testing, but this is incredible. If you have not gotten your nose on Can't Get Enough, I think this is very much a safe blind buy, but because of the price point, I would say get yourself a sample or a decant or go in store and get a sniff because you do not want to miss out on this one from Initio. Incredible. All right, so this next fragrance, I am going to apologize right now because whenever I just uncap this bottle and I get a whiff of that scent, it is on. I mean, this is just incredible. This is just incredible. So let's talk about Bond number 9, New York Chic. So this is, I can't say that this is the last release because it isn't, because they just launched 2 additional fragrances, but let me just say this. If you are a Bond number 9 collector or lover, and even if you are not, I am telling you, this is a fragrance you want to get your nose on. Let me just show you the beautiful bottle. And I mean, look at the dent that I already have with this fragrance. That is what I have been going through with this fragrance because I cannot stop pulling it. There's not enough days in the week for me to pull all of these fragrances and use it for a full day all the time. But when I have been in any kind of doubt, as soon as this one came into the collection, it was an immediate, I've got to just pull it and pull it. Now, here's the thing about New York Chic. So New York Chic has jumped to the very top of my Bond number 9 collection. It is within the top 3. And that's all I'm going to tell you, because I am going to have a dedicated video very soon where I'm going to rank my entire collection for you. There is a dedicated review of this fragrance here on the channel, so if you want more details, go catch it. The only thing I'm going to tell you about this fragrance is that this scent is so addictive. It is very, very addictive. This is a fragrance that at the dry down is quite powdery. There is some Gabbana here, and before this fragrance, I thought that Gabbana and I were not very good friends, but this has been a game changer. In addition to that, there's some tobacco here. There's quite a bit of vanilla. There's some heliotrope, if I recall correctly. Incredible. Then to top it all off, you have quite a bit of tobacco, but the tobacco is not like a dry tobacco. It's a very moist and smooth and perfect tobacco that has a touch of booziness to it. Yes, a touch of booziness to it. And at that, you also have the note of oud. But even though you have the note of oud and you have all that tobacco and you have Gabbana and you have florals that, you know, are not just any florals like heliotrope, and you have some tuberose also, I am telling you, get your nose on this fragrance, because I think you're going to be shocked at how you fall in love with it for sure. This is an incredible fragrance. To me, this is one of the top Bond number 9s of all of the ones that I own, which I own, I don't know, like 16 bottles at this point, or any Bond that I've ever sniffed. This, I'm telling you, is at the top of my list. Let us know if you've tried New York Chic, because I know many of you either picked it up or you went and you got a sniff of it in store. Let us know what you think. All right, and the last fragrance that I have for you today, if I do a lineup of my current obsessions and I don't share this one with you, first of all, for those of you who have been with me for a long time, you would probably go in the comments section and be like, okay, Arahi, where is Tomavicci? Siren's Veil. Let me just share this bottle again with you. Now, I have a dedicated review or a review here on the channel of this fragrance, and I shared with you when it was in the pre-order status. I think you can still get that incredible pricing, because with my discount code, it came to like $206 or something like that, which is unheard of for a fragrance of this level. I have to tell you, I have been collecting Tomavicci fragrances from the very beginning, and none of them have disappointed me, which is a lot to be said. But Siren's Veil, I don't know what they put in here. Well, I know what the notes are, but I don't know what else is in here, because when I tell you this is not just gorgeous, this is so addictive. Really quick, because we don't need to get into all the details, because I reviewed it here in detail and I've also featured it already several times, because again, I am quite obsessed with it. So here, the thing is that you're going to find a beautifully done note of plum. But that plum brings a certain level of booziness to it, which immediately sets the tone for letting you know that this is a bit dense, dark, sexy kind of scent that is going to, as soon as you spray it, it's going to engulf you in that vibe, in that feel. This is definitely a fragrance that I would not take to the gym. I don't even think this is really office appropriate, because it really speaks to sexy. I mean, that's really it. And it has that booziness. It has that note of plum. There are some spicy notes here. The one that I pick up on clearly is the cinnamon from the opening. All throughout the wear of the fragrance, you're going to be getting the cinnamon, but at the dry down, it's a very smooth cinnamon. In addition to that, you're going to get notes like raspberry, and all of that together is going to deliver a scent at the dry down that is going to have also a bit of edge, in my opinion, courtesy of two notes, patchouli and tobacco. The patchouli is not earthy. The patchouli is beautiful, but it is present. It's not dominant, so you don't have to worry about that, but it is present. But this is a fragrance that I'm telling you, I have nothing more to say because I have talked so much about this. If you're interested, I think they're still extending like the pre-order period pricing. And I left a link for you in the description box as well as a discount code. But if you have any doubts about the notes of this fragrance, if you think there's a note that you may not really agree with, then maybe a friend can send you a decant or a sample or something, because I'm telling you, this one, yet again, is another one you want to get on your wish list or your try list. All right, fam, so we've come to the end of today's video, and this was, to say the least, so enjoyable for me because in between sharing these fragrances, I was like spraying them because, again, I am totally obsessed. You cannot go wrong with any of these fragrances. To me, they are truly all safe blind buys, but that's because I'm obsessed with them. So to me, I can't even think of a reason why you would not enjoy any of them, right? But some of them are quite pricey, so I think it's still safer and best, as I always tell you, to try before committing to a full bottle. But I have to tell you, these fragrances, all 9 of them, are absolutely incredible. Please let us know if you've tried any of these fragrances or if you own them, and what are your feelings about them. As always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.